Hey guys, thanks for joining me on a quick 25 question practice test on Pennsylvania. I'm going to go on Pennsylvania State. So during the test, it's a 70 questions or it's a 70-30. I believe it's 70 questions or 70% of it's a national exam. And then there's the state exam, and it's a lot less questions, right? So those questions count for a lot more. People are failing that test and that exam. It's usually on the state portion. So let's jump in and do this real quick. Pennsylvania specific. You guys can do your own states whenever they do come along. You just got to log in. Whenever you put your state that you're trying to get licensed in, it will have different ones. This one's just Pennsylvania. Let's start her up. I might get a couple of these wrong. Some of these things you have to know for the test. It's like you got to study it exactly for the test. But once you leave the test, you really sometimes you don't use this stuff again. So here we go. A buyer and a seller approach a broker, explain that they have agreed on the sale of the seller's home. They ask the broker to assist them with the rest of the transaction. In Pennsylvania, the broker may represent either the buyer or the seller, but not both. That's incorrect. We can represent both. May act as a transaction broker. That is correct. We can act as a transaction broker. Must assign a different agent to the buyer. We don't have to do that. May not do this as it would violate licensing laws. Not do that. We may act as a transaction broker. If the buyer and seller negotiate the sale without representation, a transaction broker can assist with the necessary paperwork and other items required in the transfer of real estate. So this has happened personally with me. Somebody said, "Hey, I want to sell my house, and my neighbor wants to buy it. We have the price, we're ready to go. I just need somebody to help me out." So with those, you want to talk to your broker, but you can set just a flat fee as a transaction licensee and just do the paperwork for them. So. And we can represent the buyer and the seller if it was not just a transaction. So before the foreclosure sale, the borrower who defaults before the foreclosure sale, the borrower who defaults on the loan is permitted to pay off the debt plus any accrued interest and costs under the right of equitable redemption, statutory redemption, acceleration, alienation. So an acceleration is when they take the loan and they foreclose. That's accelerating it to the end and saying we're done. The borrower who default loan is permitted to pay off the debt plus any accrued interest. I think it's one of these here. Let's just hit one. There we go. Equitable redemption. Pennsylvania allows borrowers to stop a foreclosure by paying off the debt plus other costs. Other states, not Pennsylvania, also allow redemption after the foreclosure. This is known as statutory redemption. So before the foreclosure is equitable redemption. After the foreclosure is statutory redemption. This one here, the answer is equitable redemption. Which of the following does not require satisfaction of an education requirement? Timeshare salesperson, builder owner salesperson, rental listing agent, campground membership salesperson. So I believe this one's builder owner salesperson. If they're a builder, they just put out the lots. A lot of times they do work with an agent, but I don't believe they have to go education for it. There we go. All the other listed licenses have a mandatory education requirement, even campground membership. All right, number 4. Which of the following is a permitted activity for an unlicensed assistant in Pennsylvania? Hold an open house for the public as long as the assistant provides a disclaimer he cannot answer questions relating to the house. I don't know if this is allowed. I don't think they can open the door still if they're unlicensed. They can't have access, I believe. Call potential sellers for his employer. This you can act as like an inside sales associate. I believe they can make calls. Hold an open house can't do that because again, you're not licensed, so you can't really represent the home and open it up. Show property buyers have a signed agreement with it. So you can't act as a realtor. The one thing you can do as an unlicensed assistant is you can be like an inside sales associate, make calls, and try and set appointments. And of course, I got it wrong. Unlicensed assistants may hold an open house for other licensees and share general information, not the general public, but may not provide advice or interpret information related to the property. See, I didn't think they could do this. Unlicensed assistants may hold an open house for other licensees and share general information, but may not provide advice to interpret information related to the property. I'm going to save this one for review so that I'd see it for later. But still, I was under the assumption that they cannot do that. So now you know they can hold open houses for their licensees. I don't know how they'd open the door. I guess somebody'd have to go and like open the door for them because you have to have a super key to get in. I don't know. I think that's a gray area. But all you need to know is that they can't open open houses. They can't hold open houses. I don't know if I'd let somebody that wasn't licensed hold an open house for me. They are able to do that. That's all you need to know for the test is that they are able to do that. Which best describes a transaction? Licensee. Licensee who acts on behalf of the buyer. Licensee who acts on behalf of the seller with the buyer's permission. Licensee who acts as an agent for the buyer and the seller. Licensee who provides communication or document preparation services. This is basically all you're doing. Yeah. Transaction licensee do not represent your party and fiduciary responsibility. So if you're just a transaction licensee and getting a little lump sum for doing the paperwork, that doesn't mean that you're on the hook and um, dealing with it. You're basically just doing document preparation for them. As you know, you'll probably be doing more discussions with them than that, but that's all you're supposed to be doing. Which of the following is not the duty of a licensee? Submit all offers in a timely fashion, deal with honesty and in good faith, disclose conflicts of interest, provide legal advice and draft contract language on behalf of the principal. Automatically do that. You cannot provide legal advice as a realtor. You can give them your best answer and then tell them to consult with an attorney. Agents are prohibited from the practice of law and from drafting contract language unless they are party of the contract. Next question. A real estate salesperson who works as an independent contractor receives a minimum monthly compensation, the opportunity for bonuses, a monthly travel allowance based on hours worked, negotiated commissions for all transactions, the choice of stock options or company provided health insurance. Well, there are some different things you can get with different brokerages, but basically what they're asking is you as an independent contractor set your rate always. You can say there's the standard of 3% or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's all negotiable. So there is no set rate, that'd be price setting. We can't do that. Negotiated commissions for all transactions. The IRS requires at least 90% of income be paid as a result of negotiated commissions to be classified as independent contractor. When a mortgage is paid off, what document is filed to release the lien? Satisfaction. Obviously, you're satisfying the lien. In order to remove the lien on the title, the mortgagee files a satisfaction once the note is paid in full. So again, it's satisfying the lien. The purpose of the protection clause is to protect the broker from unjust accusations made by the seller, prevent other brokers from stealing clients away, to reserve the broker's commission if the owner sells the home to someone the broker to reduce the property within a set number of days after the listing agreement ends, to protect the buyer from a breach of contract on part of the seller. I'm going to hit that one. It's kind of a guess, but I think that was it. The protection clause is designed to prevent buyers and sellers from getting together, cutting the agent out of the sale, his or her earned commission. So let's say that you took a bunch of people through and then they said, hey, I'll come back in like 2 months. And then they fired you basically and then sold it to those same people just to not pay the realtor. There is a protection if the procuring cause of that sale was the initial meeting or the initial advertising basically of the agent. So whether or not you want to enforce that, it's up to you. Once an individual has applied for a salesperson license, they can do which of the following? Advertise houses for sale, solicit listings for the broker, attend sales trainings provided by the broker, work with buyers. So this is another trick question. Applied for, not secured. So if they've applied for it, I think they can solicit listings for the broker and try and call and get well, of course they can attend trainings. I want to say that they can act as an ISA and call, like as an independent sales agent and just call and say, hey, I'm just trying to set appointments. But attendance in a training class or other meetings does not require a salesperson license. Kind of a gimme, but all right. Yet I got it wrong. Which of the following is not a fiduciary duty? So there's an acronym you need to remember, old CAR. So obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accounting, and it's like responsibility. I don't know, I remember it. R. Accounting is it. So good faith is, confidentiality is in there. Good faith is not, believe it or not, is not a fiduciary duty. While admirable, good faith is not a fiduciary duty. Just something to remember for the test. Whether or not you want to still show good faith, please do. Which of the following is not a licensing requirement for a builder, owner, salesperson? Pass a written exam, complete the required education program, be at least 18 years of age, be employed by a registered builder. So you need to be 18. They don't need to require education, I don't believe. Let's try. Yep. There's no required education program for a builder, owner, salesperson. So remember that builder, owner, they don't need education. They probably have a ton already from their current profession, is what they're saying. In Pennsylvania, all agreements and contracts regarding the employment of an agent by the principal for a fee must be in writing. I would believe everything needs to be right. Doesn't need to be notarized, be verified. I mean, that's just signatures executed. Let's try in writing. Yeah. In Pennsylvania, all exclusive agreements and contracts regarding employment for a fee must be in writing. Additionally, the agent must have written authority from the seller to advise, advertise, or market the seller's property. That's all in our listing contract. It says it all in there. You just get them to sign the contract. Which is the maximum penalty for a person who has been cited 3 times for performing real estate activities without a license? I don't think you can get criminal offense. I could be wrong. Felony offense with fine up to 2,000. Felony offense. I'm gonna go here. I don't know if there's any imprisonment. Let's try. Yeah, I'm wrong. Felony offense with fine up to 5 grand and or 2 years in prison. So do not sell real estate without a license. So the one thing you need to remember for this for the test, felony offense, 5 grand, 2 years. So it was almost the worst thing on this entire list. So a second or subsequent offense of performing real estate activities without a license is a felony of third degree involving payment of a fine, 2,000 to 5 grand, imprisonment for 1 to 2 years. Do not practice without a license. A buyer purchases interest in a resort property. The new owner is entitled to the right to use the resort between June 14th and July 4th of each year. This would indicate what type of ownership. Sounds like a timeshare. If you guys know what a timeshare is, this one should be pretty easy. It's a resort. Looks like I got a couple weeks. Timeshare. The owner of a timeshare has the right to use the property for a specific period of time. It's because they share the time with that, and we get the certain period that's yours. You only own like 2 weeks of the year. The purpose of the real estate recovery fund is to enable sellers to recover escrow money that brokers handled improperly, sellers to recover money when buyers default on sales agreements, claimants to receive payment for uncollected judgments and licensees to recover commissions that the brokers have failed to pay. I know it's for the sellers to recover. Let's see. Sellers to recover money when buyers default on sales agreements. Sellers to recover money that brokers handled improperly. Claimants to receive payment for uncollected judgments against licensee. Oh, I should read that a little better. So yeah, so the recovery fund, if somebody gets a judgment against a licensee, there's a real estate recovery fund, and they pay out the claimants instead of the claimants trying to chase around the realtors. The brokers pay it out, and then the brokers collect it from the realtor, basically. Real estate recovery fund is an aggrieved person who obtains a final judgment against a licensee for fraud, misrepresentation, or deceit, and is unsuccessful collecting it from the licensee to recover the money from the recovery fund. So it's just a fund they can go after, again, if the realtor doesn't have the funds for that. The purpose of the real estate recovery fund is to enable claimants to receive payment for uncollected judgments against licensees. So realtors are sometimes hard to collect off of. If an individual is found guilty of engaging in real estate activities without a license, the penalty for the first offense is 1,000 fine and imprisonment, up to 3 months. Hey, look at that. See, imprisonment, it's crazy. Anyone who engages in real estate without a license is subject to criminal prosecution. Oh, this business. The first infraction is a summary offense, subject to a fine of $500 and up to 3 months in prison. So, remember, it goes from 500 at the beginning and then 5,000 at the top. Maybe that'll help you. There is imprisonment. So, hopefully, 500 at the bottom, 5,000 at the top. Consumer notice must include discussion of the real estate recovery, the commission rates charged by licensees, disclosure of material facts, the stigmatized properties disclosure statement. believe it's the recovery phone. Let's see, it's that is, yeah. Consumer notice must include information on the real estate recovery fund in accordance with Pennsylvania state law. Really, it just goes over most of it is just the buyers and the relationship, what their duties are, sellers, and then if there's a joint uh, sale. If a salesperson decides to change employing brokers, she should do which of the following? So we use an online system here to do it if you ever need to switch. And basically you go on and do some clicks and it changes over, but that's basically notifying the commission in writing. That's the first thing you do is you do it on your own. Again, as the realtor, you're an independent contractor and your license is being held by a broker. So you're just telling the commission, hey, I'm moving my license somewhere else. So you don't need to tell the Association of Realtors. That's outside of. You don't need to call them, um, and they will complete a form once they get the information. But the first thing you need to do is tell the commission I'm moving my license. Yep, got to let them know anytime. Next question. A state certified general real estate appraiser may appraise residential and non-residential properties. May only appraise, so these are pretty limited. May only appraise single family homes, may only appraise 1 to 4 family units, may appraise any property of the value less. So, I've had many properties appraised over that. I think it's just may appraise residential and non-residential property, real broad. Yeah. All appraisals must be conducted by licensed appraisers, and general real estate appraisers are licensed to appraise both residential and non-residential properties. Almost there, guys. The clause in a promissory note that allows the lender to have all future installments become due upon default is the escalation clause, due on sale clause, acceleration clause, alienation clause. I believe it's acceleration. The clause allows the lender to have all future installments become due upon default. I think that's just, by the way, we're accelerating. Yep, we're accelerating it now. Being that you can't pay all these notes, we're going to accelerate it to tomorrow. Basically, allows the lender to have all future installments become due upon default. So it just says balance and full is due is basically what happens, and it accelerates to the end of the mortgage, brings it back, and balance and full is due. The acceleration clause gives the lender the right to declare the entity debt due and payable immediately if the borrower is delinquent, making payments or breaches any other conditions. To obtain a salesperson license, a person must be at least 21 years of age. Nope. 25 hours of instruction as part of it. Complete no less than 3 on-site training. Pass the salesperson's examination. So let's go down. Yeah, because I think you have to do more hours than that. So I mean that would be right, but it's not the answer we're looking for because it's more. Salesperson must be 18 of her age, while brokers must be at least 21 years of age. You just got to pass the salesperson exam. Age as a protected class in Pennsylvania is defined as persons. Oh, I learned this one out the hard ways, guys. I'm 42 years old and I am a protected class. So, Pennsylvania Human Relations Act, PHRA, is more restricted than the Federal Housing Act, as it includes religious creed, ancestry, and an age person 40 years and older as a protected class in PA. So, yes, 40 years old. It's shocking, but that should make you remember it because it's so crazy. Which of the following is true about a salesperson license? It is temporary license that must be converted to a broker's license. Nope. In Pennsylvania, you don't have to be a broker. It is issued to the salesperson who may take to the broker their choice. That's probably it. Must be renewed by December 31st. It cannot be used until final completion of broker. So you don't have to be a broker in PA. Yeah. Remember, you work for yourself. You're just allowing the broker to hold your license, kind of plugging into the right vehicle, right? Licensees can choose to work with the broker their choice and must present their license to that broker. Is a fiduciary relationship, the agent is primarily responsible to the employing broker, the customer, the closing attorney, principal. So it's the customer. Your fiduciary responsibility is always to your client, principal. Well, they worded this wrong. It's not your customer, it's your principal. Your principal is your client. So, screwed up. Make sure you remember that for the test. Fiduciary responsibility is for your principal. Principal is the same as the client. I should have known that. I hit customer thinking, hey, that's my customer. Principal. 76%. We would have passed the state exam, at least on that. All right. There's a ton in there. If you guys want to see all the different topics. Let's go in there. It's all broken down from different national ones. The state one, though, for me is always one that I try and get people to get it done because, again, that's where people usually fail the most. We do have math, economics, legal descriptions, rights and ownerships, finance, encumbrances. I mean, it's all in here. So if you guys want anything specific, let me know. There are some mentoring things. If you guys want to get on a video and actually shoot a video with me on this, and I'll through the tests, we can do that. More to come. Thanks for watching. My name is Sadler Priest. And again, this is Apex Agent getting you ready for the real estate exam.